and welcome to my first ever tutorial video. I am so excited to be doing this today. I've wanted to do one for such a long time, but I wasn't sure where to start or what to film. But I finally had a brainwave, so here we are with my first hair tutorial. So today's tutorial is basically going to be 3 different hairstyles using Dutch braids. They're super simple and super easy to do once you get the hang of it, but it does take a little bit of practice. But as I said, once you get the hang of it, you'll be braiding everything. You'll be braiding so much. I mean, I even braid my husband's hair now. I braid my dog if I could. I will braid everything now that I've learned to do all these different braids. So keep watching if you want to learn how to do the looks that I'm going to show you. So the first look that I'm going to show you is 2 real chunky Dutch braids. I absolutely love this look. I'm living for it at the moment. I'm going to show you how to do it with clip-in extensions because you can hide the bonds, so they're a lot easier to use as opposed to your glue-ins or your micro bonds or whatever you might have. So I much prefer using clip-ins. Also, you know, unless you have naturally a lovely long thick hair, you're gonna need some extensions for this look. My hair is naturally really short, which you will see in a moment, but you would never guess that those plaits aren't mine. I have spent most of my teenage years and pretty much majority of my 20s trying to find different hairstyles that will hide extensions and that I can wear extensions with, because as you may have guessed by the colour of my hair, I do love to dye my hair. I love to change the colour of my hair. I abuse my hair to the point that it just will not grow for me, so I have got to have extensions. And yes, this is one of the styles that I definitely find the easiest to hide the bonds and the most effective. So without further ado, let's get into the first style. So the first look that I'm going to show you today is 2 really chunky Dutch braids. I absolutely love this look. I think it's so simple but yet so effective. And before you know how to do it, I think that it looks like it's going to be difficult, but it is one of the most easiest things, and I actually do it now when I can't be bothered to do my hair for the day. I will just shove that in and just get going. So first you want to brush through the hair just to make sure it's not tangled and it's nice and smooth. Then you want to split it down the middle to 2 equal sections. The line doesn't have to be perfect. I like mine a bit messy, but if you want it perfect, that's up to you. Then I'm taking an elastic and I'm going to tie it into a little bun so it's out the way and doesn't interfere with the section that we're going to be using. I am then just going to brush it out again just to make sure there aren't any tangles. I am then going to take 1 single clip-in extension, so a clip's width. I'm then going to brush that out. I am then taking the top section of my hair up and placing the clip into the middle of the section that we are going to be using. So again, I am just brushing out. I'm picking up another section of my hair and I'm just placing the clip in the middle of that section. Basically, you want to place the clips down the middle of the section where the braid is going to sit. That way you can hide the tracks and tuck the clips so that they cannot be seen. You don't need to be too particular about the sections, and the thicker you want your braid, the more extensions you can add, so it's entirely up to you. Here I am again, I'm just grabbing another extension, I'm going to brush it through, picking up another section of my hair and I'm just popping it in the middle of that section. Once you've done that, you can grab your tangle teaser or any hair extension brush, give it a good brush through and you're ready to start your braid. So to start this braid off, you're taking 3 sections at the very top of your head and you are just braiding under. So whereas a normal braid, you would put the sections over each other, you are going under each other for this braid. With each section that you take, you are just adding a little piece of hair in from each side, as I am doing here. The method is very similar to a French braid, except rather than going over with each section, you are going under, and you are still just adding a little piece from each side as you braid the whole way down. Don't worry if some of the clips are visible at this stage, because as we pull the braid out, we can cover them or we can just reposition the clips once the braid is in place. So you just want to repeat those steps all the way down until your braid is complete. I like to flip it round at this stage and braid from the front just so I can see what I'm doing. Also, I feel that the extensions are so long, I struggle to be able to reach all the way down the back to finish the braid off. So I'm just going to braid all the way down until the braid is complete. I am then just taking an elastic to secure the braids. The good thing about this style is we're going to pull it out and make it chunky in a minute, so it doesn't need to be perfectly neat, which is brilliant for beginners. I am then just going to pull the braid out. So I am taking either side of the braid and I am just loosening it and pulling it out so it's nice and chunky. At this stage, as you go down, you can tuck in any clips that are visible or pull some of the braid out to cover the ones that are close to the edge. And you just want to pull it out all the way down. Flipping around to the front again, you just want to pull it all out. If you feel it's too tight, you can just slide the elastic down and then continue to pull it out so it's chunky right till the end. And then you can just continue to pull it out until it's as chunky as you want. You then want to just repeat the same steps on the other side and then you'll have two lovely chunky Dutch braids. So the second look that I'm going to show you is just one really chunky Dutch braid. So it's a similar method to what I just showed you, but it's just a little bit of a different look. So to start off with, just like last time, we're just going to brush it through to make sure there aren't any tangles. Then we are taking one single clip-in extension, so another clip's width, lifting up the top section of our hair, and we're just popping it in the middle of the head. Again, just brushing it through, picking up another section of the hair and popping the clip in the middle of the head. So exactly what you did on the one section on the two Dutch braids, you're just doing the same in the middle of your head where the braid is going to sit. So you just want to keep picking up different sections of your hair and placing a single extension in the middle of each section. You don't need to be too particular about the sections, and the thicker you want your braid, the more extensions you can add. So now you have got all the extensions in you require. We are just taking the top three sections as we did before and we are braiding under. As opposed to a normal braid going over, we are pulling the sections underneath each other. And with every section you take, you are just adding a new piece of hair from each side all the way down. Again, with as before, it doesn't matter if any of the clips are visible at this stage, as when you pull the braid out, you can either reposition the clips or cover them up as you make the braid wider. Then we are just going to secure it with an elastic. Then we are just going to pull the braid from either side just to make it nice and loose and chunky. At this stage, if there are any clips visible, you can either reposition them or hide them underneath the chunkier braid. And there you have your one chunky Dutch braid. So the third and final look that I'm going to show you is my favourite. It's two Dutch braids into the top of two space buns. I think this is the one people find most fiddly and most difficult, but honestly, once you get the hang of it, it is a lot easier and you will do it with your eyes closed. Like literally, I have to do it hung over and doing it upside down, like, because that's the only way. So this is going to be a challenge for me to show you how to do it. But honestly, persevere with it. Don't get sick of it. You might have to try a few times. You might get one perfect and one looks crap and you have to do it again. But honestly, it is worth it in the end because it is such a cute, effective style. So first off, the same as the other two styles, we're just going to brush it through. Then I'm going to part it down the middle into 2 equal sections. I am then just going to tie one of the sections up into a little bun just to keep it out of the way of the section that we're going to be doing first. Then we are just going to give it another little brush through. Then leaning forward, we are going to brush the hair from the bottom of our head to the top of our head so that our hair falls forward and all runs the same way, which will make it easier for us to braid from bottom to top. I am then going to take 3 sections at the very bottom of my head. I am then going to use the same method that we just used on the last 2 Dutch braids. I'm going to braid the sections underneath each other, adding little sections of hair as I braid my way up from bottom to top to create the Dutch braid. The method is exactly the same as what we just used, except we are going from bottom to top. First, this feels extremely fiddly and it takes a little while to get your head around doing it from bottom to top and doing it upside down, but once you practice and you feel your way around it, it honestly is just as easy as doing the other Dutch braids. So we are just braiding all the way up to the top of our head where we want our space bun to sit. Then once you have reached the top, we are going to bunch all of the hair together and secure it with a hair elastic. You then want to wrap the bunch around and then pull it out to make a little bun. Then secure it down with a bobby pin. Alternatively, you could secure it with a hair elastic and then pull it out. But if you have shorter hair like me, this will make the bun appear larger. Then I'm just going to secure the other side with another bobby pin. You then want to repeat the steps that I just showed you onto the other side. So then you'll have 2 Dutch braids into 2 super cute space buns. So thanks for making it to the end of my first ever tutorial. I hope it wasn't too difficult to follow and I hope you recreate the looks. Practice does make perfect and it honestly gets a lot less fiddly as you go along. Yeah, so if you want to see any more, let me know and thanks so much for watching.